Okay, let's unpack this. You know that specific kind of frustration when you're deep in the zone. Maybe you're writing a report, coding, or just, I don't know, organizing a huge spreadsheet. And there's this one tiny repetitive action that keeps tripping you up.
The pebble in the shoe.
Exactly. It's the pebble in the shoe. It takes maybe 3 seconds to deal with.
If that.
But you have to do it 20, 50, maybe 100 times a day. And most of us, we just, we sigh, click the button, fix the thing, and move on.
Right. You just accept the friction.
We accept it as the cost of doing business.
Yeah. That's what productivity experts call death by 1,000 cuts. We ignore it because individually the cuts are so small. But cumulatively,
Is a huge drain.
a massive drain on your mental battery.
Well, today's deep dive is for anyone who just refuses to accept that pebble. We are looking at a brand new piece that just dropped today, January 29, 2026.
Fresh off the press.
It's from a blog called qianmeng.org, and the post is titled Notes on Haskell Programming, Part 44.
And before you tune out, because you heard the word Haskell, which, I get it, is a very math-heavy programming language, stick with us.
Please do.
Because the real mission of this deep dive isn't really about code syntax at all. It's about a mindset.
It is. It's about the mindset of a software plumber.
I love that.
That is literally how the author, Eng, describes himself, an old software plumber.
That title is just perfect, so unpretentious. It's not architect or engineer or wizard.
No.
It says plumber. It implies, grind. It implies getting under the sink with a wrench and banging on pipes until the water flows right.
And looking at this guy's output, that plumber title is well-earned. I was scrolling through the archives of the site to prep for this, and the sheer volume of pipes he's fixing is, well, it's staggering.
Oh, yeah.
Just for this month, we are talking strictly January 2026. There are 87 entries listed.
87 in 1 month. That's like 3 posts a day.
Yes. And it's not just code. We'll get to the specific hack in a second, but this guy is writing about everything. Gardening, fish keeping, dieting. It's this massive, sprawling log of a life spent tinkering.
That context is actually crucial, though. It really sets the stage for the specific problem he tackles in this post.
How so?
Well, when you see someone who writes part 791 of a series on gardening, and yes, I checked, that series actually exists.
It does.
You realize this is a person who obsesses over incremental improvement. He notices small changes. And in this post, he notices coding workflow was broken.
So let's jump into that problem. Eng is working in Haskell, and for those who don't know, Haskell is a functional language. It's known for being really rigorous, very logical, and just super strict about how code is formatted.
Right. In some languages, you can be a bit messy. In Haskell, indentation matters, spaces matter.
Of all matters.
If your code is visually messy, it's hard to read, and a lot of the time, it just won't even run. So keeping it tidy is non-negotiable.
Now, the standard solution for this, the way most developers work in 2026, is something called format on save. You set up your text editor, VS Code or whatever, you install a plugin, and the moment you hit save, poof, the computer magically tidies everything up.
It is magic. It's a set it and forget it luxury.
But Eng, he explicitly states in the text, I don't configure my editor to auto-format Haskell source code on save.
Which just sounds wild.
It honestly sounds masochistic to me. Why would you refuse the magic button?
Well, he doesn't go into it, but usually when plumbers reject those plugins, it's about control. Editor plugins are black boxes. Sometimes they're slow, sometimes they lock up your screen for a split second, or they just break and you have no idea why because you didn't build it.
So he was doing it manually.
Worse, he's doing it manually from the command line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Imagine the workflow. You're writing complex logic, you realize the formatting is off, you have to stop, switch windows to your terminal, and type out a very specific command.
Using a tool called Fourmolu? Fourmolu. Sounds like a spell from Harry Potter.
It basically is a spell for cleaning code. But listen to the incantation he had to cast every time. He was typing, Fourmolu mode in place, git else files.
That is a mouthful. Even if you're just hitting the up arrow to find it in your history, that is a massive context switch.
It breaks the flow state entirely. You're thinking about your program's logic, and suddenly you have to stop and think about the mechanics of a shell command.
That is the definition of friction.
Exactly. So he decides to fix it. But because he's a software plumber, he doesn't just cave and install the plugin like a normal person.
Of course not.
He decides to hack a completely different tool to do his bidding. This is where it gets really fun. He decides to use a tool called ghcid.
Okay, let's get technical for a second, but keep it simple. What is ghcid?
Ghcid stands for GHCI daemon. GHC is the compiler, the thing that turns Haskell code into a running program. A daemon, in computer terms, is just a background process.
A ghost in the machine.
A helpful ghost. ghcid is designed to be a watchdog. You run it in a separate window, and it just watches your files.
Okay.
The moment you save a file, ghcid wakes up, reloads the code, and checks for errors. Its entire purpose is to bark at you if you made a typo.
So its job is to say, hey, you missed a semicolon on line 12.
Precisely. It's a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Save, checkup, report error.
But Aang doesn't want it to report errors. He wants it to clean up the mess.
Right. He wants to hijack this feedback loop. Instead of just looking at the code, he wants the watchdog to reach into the file and rewrite it to be pretty.
And how does he do that?
He does this by creating a specific configuration file -a ghcid file in the root of his project.
I'm looking at the code he posted in the blog. It's surprisingly short. It's just 2 lines, but I feel like there's a lot of density in these 2 lines.
Oh, there is. Let's unpack the first one.
Go for it.
The first line sets up the command the daemon runs. He writes, command stack ripple quality options and no code area compat unqualified imports - no missing export lists.
Okay, stop. That is alphabet soup. Stack REPL. I get that starts the interactive environment. But that flag, -f no code, that seems counterproductive.
It does, right. He's writing code, but he's using a no-code flag.
Why?
This is actually the first stroke of brilliance. He is telling the Haskell compiler, I want you to load these files and check them, but don't actually generate the machine code.
Why would he do that?
Speed. Pure speed.
Generating the final binary code takes time and processing power. If you just want the tool to wake up and acknowledge the file changed, you don't need the final product.
You just need the reaction.
You just need the reaction.
Yeah.
By using Ashmos no code, the reload happens almost instantly.
I see. It's like revving the engine to make sure it works without actually putting the car in gear and driving down the highway.
That's a perfect analogy. He's stripping the car of weight to make it faster. And those other flags, the ones starting with 1.0.
The Deppy no missing export lists stuff.
1.0 stands for warning no. He's just silencing the compiler. He's telling it, shh, I don't care about that stuff right now. Just keep the output clean.
So, step 1. He has created a silent, super fast watchdog.
Correct. Now comes step 2. This is the real hack. The second line of the config. He uses the test flag.
The test flag. Okay, so intuitively, I assume this is for running unit tests.
Normally, yes. That is exactly what the designer of Gordy's intended. The logic is, you save the file, compiler checks for errors, and if there are none, it automatically runs your tests.
It's a safety net.
A safety net. But Aang isn't running tests, is he?
He's lying to the tool.
He really is. He's tricking the watchdog. Look at the line he wrote. Test. Fourmolu mode in place, src app, test and echo Fourmolu formatted.
Okay, I see a weird symbol at the start there. The colon bang. What is that?
That is the escape hatch. In the Haskell environment, the colon bang tells the system, hey, stop acting like a Haskell compiler for a second. Take whatever comes next and execute it as a system shell command.
Oh, that is clever. He's punching a hole through the compiler to get back to the command line.
Exactly. He is hijacking the test phase of the loop. So let's trace the new workflow.
Let's do it.
Number 1, Aang saves a file. Number 2, ghcid wakes up. It reloads super fast because of that Srinivas code flag.
Right.
Number 3, the tool thinks, okay, compilation successful, time to run the tests.
But instead of running a test,
It executes the shell command to run Fourmolu.
and Fourmolu formats the code in place.
Boom. The code is formatted, and then finally he has it echo Fourmolu formatted to the screen just so he knows it worked.
That is delightfully devious. It's a Rube Goldberg machine, but one that's incredibly efficient.
It is. And the result is exactly what he wanted. He starts the daemon once with ghcid, and then he just writes code. Every time he hits save, the formatting happens automatically.
He gets the format on save functionality, but he built it. He understands every single nut and bolt of it.
And he even notes in the text, and I love this humility. He says, while this may not be the standard approach, it's merely a demonstration of utilizing ghcid.
It's like he's winking at us.
Totally. He knows he's using a wrench as a hammer, but he's showing us that it works perfectly well if you just hold it right.
And that really brings us back to the core identity of this software clumber, doesn't it?
It does. Because we need to zoom out. This hack doesn't exist in a vacuum. I want to go back to those archives you mentioned. The 87 posts in January alone.
Yeah, let's dig into that sidebar, because qianming.org is a wild place. We have notes on Haskell, sure, but then we have notes on gardening, and I'm looking at part 791 of that series.
791 entries on gardening.
And the title of that one is Addressing Leggy Vinca.
Leggy vinca. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a problem.
It sounds bad. And then we have Notes on Fish Keeping, Part 183, Should We Explore the Zebra Cichlid? And Notes on Dieting, Part 114, Deep Dive into Lechá.
And don't forget the recent one on blackbeard algae in the fish tank.
Right. So what is the connection here? Is this just a guy with a lot of hobbies, or is there a thread connecting the zebra cichlid to the Haskell compiler?
I think there's a very strong thread. It's the mindset of the tinkerer or the cultivator.
Ooh, the cultivator. I like that.
Whether he is looking at a tank full of water or a folder full of code, he sees an ecosystem that needs to be balanced.
An ecosystem. Yeah.
Think about it. When you have leggy vinca in the garden, what do? You prune it. You adjust the light. You make a small intervention to improve the health of the system.
Okay.
When you have blackbeard algae in the tank, you treat the water. You tweak the CO2 levels.
And when you have unformatted Haskell code,
You tweak the build pipeline. It's the exact same mental motion. He observes a defect, something is messy, inefficient, something is leggy, and he builds a tool or a process to fix it.
So the greented hack isn't just a tech tip. It's him weeding his digital garden.
Precisely. And the frequency of the posts, daily, sometimes multiple times a day, it shows this isn't about reaching some finished state.
Right.
A garden is never finished. A fish tank is never done. And for Ang, his software environment is never done either. It's a process of continuous, lifelong improvement.
Night-long tinkering, as he puts it in the blog's tagline.
That image is so evocative. You can picture him late at night. Maybe the aquarium light is humming in the corner, illuminating the zebra cichlids, and he's just staring at his terminal, thinking.
I can save 3 seconds here if I just trick the test runner.
Exactly.
You know, it's really empowering when you think about it, because so often with technology, we feel like passive users. We buy the app, we use the features provided, and if a feature is missing, we just complain.
Right. We say, why didn't the developers include this? We wait for an update.
But the plumber doesn't complain. The plumber builds a bypass.
That is the core takeaway here. Creative misuse. Tools come with instructions, yes. Jira says, use me for error checking.
Yeah.
But if you understand how the tool works, if you understand the input and the output, you can disobey those instructions.
You can use a spreadsheet to make pixel art. You can use your email drafts as a to-do list.
Exactly. You stop asking, what was this tool designed to do? And you start asking, what can I make this tool do?
So is there an element of fragility here? Usually people warn against this stuff. They say, don't hack things together because it'll break.
That's a great question. I would argue, in this case, the hack actually makes him more resilient.
Wowie. How?
Think about the standard plugin user. If that VS Code plugin updates tomorrow and breaks, the user is helpless.
They're stuck.
They have to file a bug report and wait. They don't know how the magic trick works because it's a black box.
Yeah.
But Ang, he wrote the script. He knows what -no code does. He knows what the doc command does.
If it breaks, he knows where to look.
He knows exactly where to look to fix it. He owns his tools in a way that most of us don't.
That transparency is so powerful. And looking at his learner mindset, I mean, if this hack stops working, he won't panic. He'll just write Notes on Haskell Programming, Part 45, Fixing the Daemon.
And he'll probably enjoy doing it. It's part of the fun.
So bringing this back to our listener, most of us probably aren't Haskell developers. But this applies to everyone, doesn't it?
100%. The question isn't, do you use ghcid? The question is, where is the friction in your life?
Right.
Maybe you spend 10 minutes every morning copying data from an email into a spreadsheet. Maybe you rename files by hand every Friday. That is your manual formatting.
That's your friction.
And the plumber's advice isn't go buy a $500 piece of software to solve it. No. The advice is look at the tools you already have.
And use them differently.
Can you misuse them? Can you set up a filter in your email that auto-forwards? Can you misuse your calendar to track your budget? Because the visual layout just makes sense to you.
It's about fresh eyes, looking at your environment not as a set of rigid products, but as a set of raw materials.
Just like Ang looks at his text editor, his garden, and his fish tank, they're all just systems waiting to be optimized.
So before we sign off, let's do a quick recap of the technical recipe for any coders listening, just so they have it down.
Sure. The recipe is 1. Use ghcid as your daemon. 2. Configure the command with -no code so it runs instantly.
No binary.
No binaries. 3. Silence the warnings with 1.0 flags so your terminal stays clean. 4. Hijack the test flag.
The big one.
Instead of running a test, use the operator to run your shell command, your formatter. And 5. Enjoy your friction-free workflow.
Simple, elegant, and totally non-standard.
The plumber's way.
And for everyone else, I want to leave you with a challenge. We've been talking about breaking the rules of software.
Yes, I want you to look at one tool you use every single day, the one that feels boring and predictable, and I want you to ask, what rules am I following just because the manual told me to?
That is a dangerous question.
It is, but try to break it. Try to make it do something it wasn't designed for, just to save yourself 5 seconds of friction. Be a plumber for a day.
I'm going to go stare at my coffee maker and see if I can make it file my taxes.
Good luck with that. Don't burn the house down.
I make no promises. Thank you all for listening to this deep dive into the archives of kianmeng.org. Check your leggy vinkas, format your code, and keep tinkering. We'll see you in the next one.